Hi everybody, it's me, Brodie McLeod. I'm making another wastecast because I've just got nothing else better to do. Had a shit day today. My laptop's broken, which sucks. Screen's cracked on it. I fell asleep and I woke up and it was broken, and so that really pissed me off. And just had some couscous. The food's so nice they named it twice. Now I'm going to read you some fucking shitty content off the internet that might be interesting to you. If it's not, then just do something else with your time. I don't know, phone someone or go on Facebook or just sort of have a cup of tea and a nice sit down. I don't know, whatever you want to do really. It's a free country, and it sort of maybe not. Maybe in an anarcho-technocracy we would be more free. But then there's this kind of, I don't want to use the word juxtaposition in two successive videos, but there's sort of central bank digital currency is a thing. I'll hopefully explain it in this document I'm going to read you, and I don't know if it really fits with anarcho-technocracy because they're kind of two alien concepts, but I think you could somehow kind of make an amalgamation of both. Anyway, it's just word salad for both bullshit. I'll just read it and then get the video over with, innit? So, it goes like this. The Technocratic Dilemma, Anarcho-Technocracy and the Future of Value, by me, Brodie McLeod, and composed by Gemini Pro because I'm not literate and I don't have an English GCSE, unfortunately. Imagine a world where politicians have been replaced by physics and the government is not a group of people in suits, but a transparent automated network designed to maximise human well-being. This is the seductive promise of anarcho-technocracy, a fusion of two seemingly contradictory philosophies that, when merged, propose a society managed by scientific consensus rather than human decree. But even in a utopia of abundance, the question of value, how we track, allocate and access resources remains. So if such a society were to employ a digital currency, would a central bank digital currency or CBDC provide the efficiency the system demands, or would a centralised model be the only way to preserve the liberty it promises? So defining the terms, what is the architect and the ledger? To understand the conflict, we must first strip away the jargon. So you don't know what anarcho-technocracy is. I don't really know what it is. I'm just making this video to make myself look smart, really. Yes, anarcho-technocracy is a theoretical social structure sort of associated with the visions of futurists like Jack Fresco, who you might associate with a film called Zeitgeist, which was a bit shit. It's quite good in some ways, but don't watch it. Maybe do watch it. I don't care. The technocracy part, right? This suggests that the management of society should be based on the scientific method, a bit like the Renaissance in the French Revolution and all that shit. Instead of voting on whether to build a bridge, or engineers and computers and calculate if the bridge is needed and if the resources exists, it's like the administration of things, not people. The anarcho part implies the absence of a ruling class or state coercion. So power to the people kind of thing. There's no police or prisons, and order is maintained because needs are met and scarcity is eliminated. So there's, in theory, no crime. Removing the incentive for crime and participation is voluntary. Central bank digital currency. So think of this as programmable cash. It's a digital version of a national currency like a digital dollar or euro, but instead of sitting in a private bank account, it's issued directly by the central bank. Unlike Bitcoin, it's centralised and traceable and controlled by the issuer, which is a bit fucked up if there's no government, but you understand if you read more, listen to more of me reading. Decentralised model. So the kind of nervous system of the technate. It's a nice word, isn't it? In an anarcho-technocratic society, the primary goal is equilibrium, which is balancing what the earth can produce with what the population consumes. So the advantages of a centralised central bank digital currency would be perfect feedback loops in context. So a centralized currency can act as a sensory system. Every transaction feeds real-time data back to the central resource computer. If 1,000 people buy bicycles in Tokyo, the system immediately knows to allocate more aluminium and rubber to bicycle manufacturing. Quite clever stuff, really. So a CBDC provides an omniscient data required for scientific efficiency. Automated stewardship. So a programmable central bank digital currency could prevent ecological overshoot automatically. The currency could have smart contracts embedded that prevent the purchase of endangered materials or cap consumption if local energy reserves dip below the safety threshold. It ensures that the economic activity never violates the laws of physics. It's a bit of a drastic way of putting it, but that is basically right. So frictionless distribution. In a crisis, in like a natural disaster, a central authority can instantly airdrop credits to the affected areas, ensuring immediate access to resources without a bureaucratic delay. So those are some advantages. Disadvantages, the panopticon effect. So the fatal flaw of centralisation is surveillance. So CBDC allows the issuer to see every transaction. They can switch off dissidents' bank accounts if they wanted to. In a society striving for anarchy, which is freedom from rulers, a centralised ledger creates the ultimate tool for control. So even if managed by an AI, the potential for dictatorship of the algorithm still exists. So Cyberdyne becomes self-aware, switches everyone's money off, and it all goes to fuck. Single point of failure. So if the central node crashes or is corrupted, the entire economic engine halts. Technocracy prizes stability. A centralised ledger sort of creates a singular vulnerability in that respect. So the decentralised model, digital liberty. Conversely, a decentralised model, similar to cryptocurrency or a distributed ledger, operates on a network of computers with no single master. So the advantages of decentralisation: alignment with anarcho principles. So decentralisation guarantees that no central entity can freeze funds, censor transactions, or manipulate the supply. It empowers the individual, ensuring that the access to the resources can be revoked by a glitch or a policy shift. Privacy and autonomy. It allows for economic interaction without surveillance. In a society that values human freedom, the right to transact privately is often viewed as a prerequisite for liberty. Then it says about resilience, which I do agree with. A distributed network is virtually impossible to shut down. It mimics nature, or it's organic, redundant, and robust. So disadvantage is data opacity. I hope I said that right. This is the critical failure point for technocracy. If the central resource management system can't see where resources are going because the currency is private and anonymous, it can't plan effectively or efficiently. So it breaks that feedback loop, leading to the same waste and overproduction that we see in capitalism today. So inefficiency. Decentralised networks are often slower and more energy intensive to maintain than centralised spreadsheet. So the integration of labour and full reserves. I asked in my prompt if a full reserve, resource and labour-backed economic system integrates with anarcho-technocracy, which is a stupid thing to ask, really, because it doesn't. But I think it probably could, in a kind of way. The computer hasn't found a way. It's just saying no. Jacques Fresco, who's one guy who's a futurist who has some good ideas, like many people on this subject, and other technocrats argue that labour for income is an obsolete construct, and the reason for that is the automaton paradox. The goal of anarcho-technocracy is basically to automate everything and free humanity. So we just have to use technology to do everything and AI to do everything. If you back your currency with labour, you inherently validate the necessity of human toil. As automation approaches 100%, the value of human labour approaches zero. So obviously a currency backed by a shrinking asset, labour, would suffer hyperdeflation and collapse. So yeah, it's just a bit of a fucking stupid problem that I've put in there. Tool. Full reserve fallacy. While resource-based backing makes sense, the currency represents actual physical goods. Labour backing retains the class structure of the worker versus compensation, but anarcho-technocracy seeks to move beyond compensation to a system of access abundance. The rationing versus access. Money is a rationing device used to manage scarcity. So in an anarcho-technocratic society, successfully creates abundance, limitless clean energy, 3D printed goods, stuff like that. The concept of paying for things becomes as absurd as paying for like the air we breathe. What might work more effectively would be energy accounting. So instead, a currency which circulates and accumulates. Technocracy, Inc., the 1930s movement, and Fresco proposed energy accounting. The way that works is that it's non-transferable. So a bit like a cinema ticket, use it and then it's destroyed. You can't hoard it or steal it or lend it or use it for usury or interest acquisition or capital gains or anything like that. And it's like it's a measurement of something. It's not value. It doesn't measure value, which is subjective. It measures the energy cost to produce the item. So the mechanism, the way it could work, the society calculates the total available energy for a time period. This energy budget is divided equally among the population. When you sort of acquire a product, the energy cost is deducted from your account and the cost is deleted from the system. In conclusion, the hypothetical construction of an anarcho-technocratic society, a decentralised resource ledger, appears to be the most viable compromise, although it requires a radical shift in thinking. A centralised central bank digital currency is too dangerous. It provides the necessary data for the system, but it builds a cage for the people. A purely decentralised currency is too opaque. It provides freedom but blinds the system's ability to manage resources effectively. So, superior solution. Here's the final solution. Maybe it's good, maybe it's like shit, I don't know, let me know. But one of the most aligned with the core philosophy is to abandon currency entirely in favour of energy accounting by treating money not as a store of wealth but as a temporary metric of energy allocation. Society bridges that gap. It provides the technate with the data that it needs to cost energy, so like energy cost tracking, whilst preserving the anarchist ideal, which is the quality of access and the inability to use wealth as a tool of oppression. There's no poverty, there's no crime, there's no government, there's no scarcity. Everything's cool and we all live in the future like it's supposed to be, rather than like kind of shit that we have to deal with today, like Twitter going down every other fucking week and like CrowdStrike shit. Anyway, in this future we wouldn't pay for the future, we would simply engineer it, measuring our wealth not in gold or digital tokens but in the efficiency with which we convert planetary energy into human well-being. And that is it's great really. I've had just had this really shit day today, really shit. I look like shit. I haven't even had a shave. I haven't even had a shower today. I'm gonna go and have a shower right now and then I'm gonna listen to some music. And tomorrow I might go into town and try and get my laptop given to the repair guys. Next week I'm probably going back to the lodge. I'm in this nice room in Weston-super-Mare's PQ unit, which has got great big windows with lots of natural light. So see there, quite nice, some really uninspiring shit artwork. You look at that, it's sort of like a forest walk. Don't know which fucking aesthetic genius interior designer put that on the wall, but there's my couscous plate. The food's so nice, they named it twice. Here's my glasses and my head and my face saying goodbye, good evening, I love you all the best, and bollocks to cunts.